What if the best study schedule isn't created by you, your tutor, or even the most productive person on YouTube, but by something that has never taken an exam, never felt pressure, never crammed at 2 a.m., and yet, somehow, it knows exactly what you need? I'm talking about ChatGPT, yes. I let an AI, a literal machine, take over my study week. Not a suggestion, not a few tips, I gave it full control, 7 days. No manual edits, I followed whatever it told me to do, and what happened? I still haven't fully wrapped my head around it. Now here's the part nobody tells you. I wasn't doing this for fun or views. I was on the edge. Every week, I'd start my CCA prep with a carefully written plan. Neat boxes. Optimistic checklists, and by Tuesday, I was already behind. By Thursday, I'd replan everything out of guilt. By Sunday, I was mentally bankrupt and pretending next week would be different. Spoiler, it never was. I didn't have a productivity problem, I had a pattern problem, and I thought, if I can't trust myself to break the cycle, what if I hand the keys to something that doesn't have my bad habits? So I asked ChatGPT to plan my study week, and I followed it, blindly. No, maybe I'll shift this, no, let me just scroll first, no, I'll do it better later. It was all or nothing, but here's where it got weird. I expected a robotic, unrealistic schedule. Instead, it created something that felt like it knew me: energy dips. Anticipated, motivation crashes. Pre-countered, temptation to overdo it and burn out. Blocked, I swear, there were moments I felt like it was watching me, like when it said, take a strategic break now, before your brain tries to force one later. That line hit too hard. Midweek, I nearly gave up, not because it was too hard, because it was working. And I didn't know how to handle that. See, I'm used to chaos, to guilt-fueled late nights, to the high of last-minute survival, but this plan, this AI-generated strategy, it was stable, too stable. And it made me uncomfortable. For once, I wasn't fighting to stay on track, and that felt wrong. Isn't that wild? We self-sabotage when things go too right, but I pushed through. Just one more day. Then another. I told myself, trust the process, not your panic. By the end of the week, I had done more in 5 days than I'd done in the past 3 weeks combined, and not just more, better, focused. Retained. Reviewed, and I wasn't even exhausted. What if the best study schedule isn't made by a human at all, not by a productivity guru, not by a straight-A student, not even by me, but by something that has never pulled an all-nighter, never felt exam anxiety, and doesn't even have a brain in the way we understand it? That's exactly what I did. I handed over my entire ACCA study week to ChatGPT, an AI that doesn't know my personality, my habits, my energy levels, nothing. And yet, somehow, it knew exactly what to do. Now, before you assume this was some techie experiment just for fun, let me stop you right there. This wasn't a challenge video. This was me reaching a breaking point. I was tired of rewriting my study plans every Sunday night. Tired of procrastinating by optimizing my routine over and over again. I wasn't lazy. I was exhausted, mentally stuck in a loop of pretending the next version of my plan would finally work. It never did. I didn't need more motivation. I needed a complete reset. So I made a decision. I was going to outsource my entire study week to ChatGPT and follow it with military discipline, no edits, no negotiating, no just 5 more minutes detours. When the schedule came back, I expected it to be mechanical. Cold. Robotic. Instead, what I saw was strategic. It didn't pack my days with unrealistic study marathons. It anticipated burnout. It built in recovery. It added things I never even considered: mental warm-ups, reflection windows, anti-overload checkpoints. These weren't just filler words. They were traps. For my own bad habits. It was like the AI knew where I'd crash, and placed cushions there before I fell, because it was true. That's my pattern. I panic when things feel too calm, too smooth. That sentence slapped me harder than any productivity book ever has. It knew I'd try to run. And it told me to stay. That was the moment everything shifted. I stopped resisting the process. I started executing it, without question. It was surgical. Efficient. Sharp, but here's what hit even harder: I stopped being the main character. The overthinking narrator in my brain. Gone. The voice constantly asking, should I start now? Am I doing enough? Silenced. For the first time in years, I wasn't trying to feel productive. I actually was. And it didn't require pushing harder. It required removing resistance. It wasn't about doing more. It was about stopping the 1,000 microdecisions that drain our willpower before we even begin. That week wasn't just a productivity shift. It was a psychological reset. I started thinking like a performer. A strategist. A calm executor, not a chaotic student. I finished tasks faster, remembered better, slept easier. And the best part? I didn't feel like I was sacrificing my sanity. In fact, I felt more human than I've ever felt during a study week, because my brain finally had the space to breathe. I didn't expect it, but I started trusting myself again. That's the real result of this experiment. Not just a few completed chapters. Not just better retention. But clarity. Confidence. A reconnection to that focused version of myself I'd forgotten existed. The one that doesn't need to hustle harder. Just smarter. Now, I still use ChatGPT to plan my weeks. Not because I think it's smarter than me. But because it's not me. It doesn't carry my guilt, my fatigue, or my self-doubt. It plans without panic. And when I follow that structure, I finally show up without excuses. Here's something wild: the breaks weren't random, they were structured in neurobiological rhythm windows, what science calls ultradian cycles. Roughly every 90 to 120 minutes, your body naturally dips in performance. That's when the AI slotted in recovery. Not because I told it, but because it knew. That's not just smart, that's surgical. And here's another stat: when I cross-reference my energy levels with the study sessions ChatGPT assigned, 82% of the high-intensity tasks were placed within my actual mental peak times. I didn't tell it that, but it mirrored my brain better than I ever have. If you want smarter, AI-powered strategies that actually fit your life, not fight it, join the Education Bench community, where we don't chase hustle. We build systems, where every video isn't just a tip, it's a test we've run, so you get results. And before you go, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell me, what would you let ChatGPT plan for you, your workouts, your business, your entire week? Let's turn the comments into a real think tank. Your idea might be the next video we bring to life. Now go, build your plan, smarter, sharper, strategically supported, and remember, the future of learning isn't artificial. It's augmented.